During summer, 3 members of what we call the official Austria have left the United Arab Emirates. That's the Austrian ambassador, Dr. Andreas Liebmann, the head of the National Tourist Office, Mr. Robert Gröblacher, and our long-standing commercial counselor and general secretary of the Austrian Business Council, Mr. Richard Bandera. We aim to introduce all 3 new and incoming job holders in our interview series in the next weeks. Today, we start with the new commercial counselor and the new general secretary of the Austrian Business Council, Mr. Johannes Brunner. Johannes, welcome to this interview, and let me just start and get into the first question, which is obvious. What brought you to the UAE? And we hope to understand what you did before you came to the United Arab Emirates.
Yes, first and foremost, dear Werner, thank you for the warm welcome, and thank you for having me. The question, well, there's a short and a long answer. I try to keep the long answer short, if you allow. Yeah. So I think international business was always one of my key interests already back at university times. Yeah. So when I had the opportunity to join Advantage Austria, the foreign trade promotion organization of the economic chamber in Austria, yeah, I jumped on this opportunity. As you and our members probably know, we have a network of about 100 offices in more than 70 countries all over the globe. So for me, that was the ideal chance to go on a journey of a real global career. And I had the pleasure and also challenge to work already in 6 different countries, responsible for various areas around the globe. It started in the early 90s in Spain, in Barcelona. I'm still a huge fan of the local football club in Barcelona. Then followed 3 years in Canada and Toronto. From there, we went to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. That was actually the first time I was working in an environment where the culture is also influenced on the one hand by religion. So Islam plays a crucial role also there. Yeah. So I think some of that experience will be quite helpful here. And then the temperature and the humidity in Malaysia reminds me some days a little bit when I experience it here in Abu Dhabi. But as the time went by, further postings followed, totally different part of the world. First 7 years in Finland as commercial counselor for Finland and the Baltic region. And then my posting before UAE was actually in South Africa, responsible for the southern part of sub-Saharan Africa. In between, of course, there were always periods of working at headquarters. One particular period I wanted to mention, I also spent 1 year with an export company, a company in the plastics machinery field in Upper Austria. That was actually very early in my career, and it gave me a very practical insight into what really matters to our clients, the Austrian export community, if you like. So having said all this, when the opportunity came to apply for Abu Dhabi, I again jumped on this opportunity, also knowing my predecessor very, very well, and knowing that if I have the possibility to step into Richard's footsteps, I will find a team here at our office that works very well together, and it's a real pleasure, and it made it very easy for me to arrive here.
And I know you didn't come alone, you brought your family with you. Can you tell us a little bit more about your family? We always like also this personal touch behind the person.
Yes, I shall gladly do so. Well, in this case, it's not the whole family that moves with us. That had been the case for the past 20 years or so. So this time, only my wife, Franziska, moved with me from Vienna to Abu Dhabi. Franziska is from Spain. By coincidence, my first posting abroad, but we actually met even before that during our student times. Yeah. We have 2 adult children, and growing up with parents that are kind of global nomads. They also became very internationally orientated. So our son works now in New York in the banking sector, and our daughter is still at university and studies currently in London. So Franziska is here with me. Her background is she's actually a lawyer from Spain. And we will be sure that there will be a nice mix of communities, the Spanish and Latino community here with the Austrian, Swiss and German. That is always a potential for, how should I say, constructive dialogue.
I really love that, because I'm very much a fan of Spain and Latin America. So let's team up. I really think that's a great idea. Now let's get a little bit back into business and the reason why you're here. Johannes, where do you see potential for Austrian businesses here in the region?
Well, maybe it's a bit too soon for me to give a really in-depth reply to that question. Yeah, but of course, during the preparation for this posting and also during my first few weeks here in the UAE, I picked up a number of topics that will for sure be at the core of our work in the months and years to come. Yeah, and even if the kind of global situation currently is a bit challenging with everything that's going on in Europe right now, yeah, there's always a little bit of opportunity within all the challenges. So I would see at least 3 to 4 sectors where I think we shall focus on in the near future, medium-term future. One is, of course, the whole topic of sustainability, of carbon-free economy. Yeah, Austria has really built itself a world-renowned name when it comes to green technologies, to renewable energies. Yeah. I see potential here, and I know there have already been first projects in that sector that got off the ground. Yeah, so we will continue to focus on that topic. Yeah, I also like the policy of diversification of the manufacturing sector in the UAE. However, as I said before, it's still too soon for me to judge where this journey goes, but that would open the door to another field of strengths of the Austrian businesses, which is simply the machinery, equipment, engineering side. Yeah, so industrial products, so to speak, where we are world famous for in so many overseas markets. Yeah. Then also developments in the so-called new economy. Yeah, I've been observing what in particular Dubai is trying to achieve in becoming an international or global hub for the fintech sector. Yeah, so we have already started in the past, and we will continue to do so. Maybe not only in fintech, but overall in the startup community, to build a network to attract also these young companies from Austria. Yeah, to come to the Gulf region. Choose, for example, Dubai as their starting point. Yeah, and maybe get inspired by the local ecosystem. Yeah, and like that grow into scale-ups at some time. Yeah? Having said all this, I think we should also not lose sight of kind of what Austria stands for in the UAE, and that is certainly the infrastructure and construction sector, where we can see wherever we go a project where an Austrian company had been involved. I mean, I don't need to name them now because it will be kind of the obvious things, from Burj Khalifa to the bridge that connects Abu Dhabi with the mainland. You always find a little bit of Austria in many important infrastructure projects here in the UAE, and I hope we will be able to continue also in that sector. And last but not least, we have here a consumer sector that is looking for European products. Yeah. And we were always proud to also support, let's say, the food, beverage, consumer good sectors. You yourself may probably be one of the best examples with the background in the crystal glass industry, and there are so many others.
Great. Johannes, what are your immediate plans? What are you planning to do first now? Activities, events, what's in your mind?
Well, there is already quite an extensive calendar of events lined up. Let me maybe only mention the 2 or 3 highlights over the next couple of months. One is, of course, the Austrian National Day, which we are preparing in close cooperation with the embassy. It will take place, obviously, on the 26th of October in Abu Dhabi at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Yeah. Business-wise, during the month of November, we are organizing an Austrian trade mission to Pakistan, one of the countries we also cover from our base here in Abu Dhabi from. There will be an Austrian group at Gulf Food Manufacturing also during the month of November. So if you are in that sector, it may be worthwhile paying a visit to that convention. There is a plan for an incoming business delegation during the months of January. Incoming business delegation from Austria, maybe tied to a joint economic commission. And I will end with our signature event, I guess, which is the Austria Connect conference, which brings together my colleagues from the whole region, as well as the managers from Austrian companies in the Gulf region. The Austria Connect 2023, that is scheduled for the 9th of March.
Great. Johannes, thank you very much. Now I have just a closing question. Where can our members meet you in person?
Well, there are a number of possibilities coming up. First of all, the doors to our office here in Abu Dhabi are, of course, always open, and everybody is welcome to knock on that door, come for a cup of coffee and a chat, and we get to know each other a little bit better. But there are also a few events coming up. The Austrian Embassy is organizing the traditional happy hour on the 21st of September here in Abu Dhabi. As an ABC event, we are looking forward, but maybe you fill that in, we are looking forward to a Get to Know the Official Austrians event end of September. And then, of course, the already mentioned National Day on the 26th.
Yeah. So you were just referring to what we call the Information Day, where we invite the ambassador, the consul, you obviously, and the head of the National Tourist Office to speak to our members and to introduce themselves. Johannes, thank you for the interview. We're looking forward to meeting you all in person. We wish you a great start in your new posting here in the UAE. And big welcome again.
Thank you very much, Werner, and looking forward to get to know all our members in person as soon as possible.